So I've just completed Sonic Dream Team on my iPad, no other choice. It was an Apple Arcade exclusive game that I had to get a free trial for because typical. I wish they would release it on Android and console and just on the App Store in general, because like, why can't I own this game? But today I'm going to talk about how I felt about the game since I've completed all the story bits. I didn't actually look at the story much. I kind of skipped over that just to get to the gameplay, so I won't really be discussing the actual story today, but I will be discussing everything else, such as the gameplay and the fact that this is so much of a better Sonic game than anything 3D that we've had in the last 10 years. Oh my god. So I've got a list of things to go through today. I'll just go in order of that. So in Sonic Dream Team there are 4 total zones with 3 acts each, and each act has 7 unique challenges. These challenges will vary between just getting to the goal, getting to a goal but it's titled differently, reaching certain checkpoints within a time limit, collecting shards, kind of like the Master Emeralds, to complete the stage. And then doing character-specific challenges such as only playing as fly, speed, or climb character. Obviously, you can play as 6 different characters here. Sonic and Amy control exactly the same. So does Tails and Cream controlling the same, and Knuckles and Rouge control the exact same. Now, the difference between the way characters control in this game is actually really cool. I like it actually. Every single character can boost, homing attack, and each character type will have their own unique ability. So Sonic and Amy's only unique ability is the fact that they can do the Lightspeed dash. Wow. Cream and Tails' ability is the fact that they can fly, and Knuckles and Rouge's ability is the fact that they can glide and climb only specific walls. Not all walls, specific walls. Another thing about the characters is on levels that actually allow you to play as any character, you can change to any character you want on the fly. So that means that you don't have to choose a character before the level and stick with them the whole way. If you decide, I want to play as Cream now, or I want to play as Rouge now, you can do that on the fly with the push of a button. So as I discussed earlier about there being only 3 zones, there is actually a boss act on each level, which you would fight a pretty easy boss. All the bosses in this game are actually pretty easy, I would say. Not really any challenge, just straightforward, but this is a mobile game after all, so. And before we get into anything else, I want to discuss, you can get these like trophy things of characters and other things like this phone thing for playing the game and doing specific challenges, such as, you know, you can collect all the 5 red rings in each stage. Yeah, they're back and they'll unlock things. But then there's also Tails' challenges, which are some challenges that refresh after a certain amount of time, which will basically give you something to do in the game if you've completed it 100%. It's kind of like what most mobile games do, to be honest. So let's just move on to how the game handles and the controls of the game. So because it's a mobile game, there is literally only 2 buttons and a joystick. Obviously the joystick will make you move in any direction that you push. You can boost and jump, and then pressing either one of the buttons, depending if you've got the setting on or not, you can do the homing attack onto rails or enemies, etc. One thing that I don't like, and I understand this because it's a mobile game, so it has to be very simple and not complex with the way you can control your character, but when you're grinding on rails, you can't leave the rail at all until you come to an end of it, or you get launched off from a spring, for example. So you would be able to do some cool cuts here and skip jumping over, but nope, you can't do that. It's annoying. I get why, because it's a mobile game, but I wish that was an option so I could do some cool shortcuts, especially because I can fly with Cream, so I would rather be able to do that than to not do that, you know. You can play with touch controls, or you can play with the controller. I played most of Sonic Dream Team with either the Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller, so I had that experience, but I did actually play a bit with the touch controls, and honestly it's really difficult. Like, some of the stages can get really annoyingly tough, not because they're tough themselves, but because of the mobile touch controls, which just make it hard to precisely land where you want to land. I forgot to mention about the options earlier, but you get a bunch of different things like camera controls, sounds, graphics quality options, which I couldn't actually do for some reason. I guess my iPad isn't powerful enough. With the camera options, you can invert only the Y-axis and not the X, which is One I actually wanted to change because I struggled with the camera sometimes when playing with a controller, kept putting it the wrong way. You can also change the camera distance and the sensitivity. And you can also customize the layout of the control sticks and buttons on the screen. You can make them smaller, bigger, put them in different positions, etc. And then you can also change the sensitivity of the control stick. But before we move on to the next section, another thing I want to mention about the characters is that you can only fly for a very limited time as Tails or Cream, and then replenish your flight with these little rings that you go through, which is cool, I like that. And then also what I do like is that if you keep holding the jump button as you run out of stamina, you will then slowly descend, which is actually cooler than just stopping flying, you know. And then with Knuckles and Rouge, you can glide, but only for a very short time, because you will eventually just start to drop instantly, which is not good. I don't really like that. I wish you could glide for longer. Onto the level design itself, it is actually really good. Gone are the 2D sections and the doing everything without you actually pressing a button on the controller sections from games like Sonic Colors, Generations, and especially Forces and Frontiers. Gone are all that. You actually have a lot of control over your character. The only slight of automation that you have is when you're on rails, but even then, you have options to decide to jump left or right onto another rail that's coming up, so not really any automation in this game. I would say it controls very well, and the level design is really open, like an adventure Sonic game, you know? It's just like that. No complaints at all on the level design. It is honestly what Sonic games should be like. They shouldn't be like this. Shouldn't be like Frontiers. I'm sorry, I just don't like the way Frontiers did it, because it's just too much 2D and not much to do in the open zone. Anyway, back to the game that we're supposed to be talking about. The boost doesn't last as long either, but you can replenish it with these lightning looking things, which I actually like more than wisps in Sonic Colors, because they are more common and in places that you wouldn't need it. But also, the boost replenishes itself after a while of not using it, like stamina. This is so much better than Sonic Colors, because you can actually use boost without thinking, oh, I'm gonna not be able to use it anymore until I find more wisps. Oh. So I would say that, yeah, this is a great boost mechanic, and besides from Frontiers having the infinite boost option, it's the best we've gotten. Now let's talk about graphics and performance. Obviously, because this is a phone game, it's not gonna look the best, but I would say that it looks pretty damn good for a phone game. I was mostly playing this on my Apple iPad 7, and it was actually running pretty smooth most of the time while looking like what you've been seeing the whole video, but because I was recording, it was a bit stuttery. That doesn't really happen much outside of recording. But then also what did happen a lot in and out of recording was the game just crashing for no reason. Just look at this clip, there's no reason for it to crash. Exactly, like why did that happen? I don't get it, it's stupid. There's a few mechanics in this game, like this water thing that shoves you forward and gets you to another area, and these pipes that can go in, that you can go in to shoot you to places. Now the voice acting, I would say, I haven't really watched the cutscenes that much because I mainly skipped them, but from what I've heard it is actually pretty good, except I've heard something about the Rouge voice actor, so I don't really know how to feel about that. Obviously not good if that's true. But I like Cream's new voice. It sounds different to how we've heard her from the last decade, since we haven't really seen much of her in the last 10 years.
Oh, that's pretty scary. I won't let you hurt Miss R.E.M.
And the music, I would say that a lot of it is good, but not Sonic game level good. You know, like how a lot of iconic Sonic songs from the 2000s games were. It's not like that, but there's a few good songs in the game. There's a few cool details, such as Eggman's announcements, like in Sonic Colors in the Ego City stage.
The speed limit is a strict 5 miles per hour. Absolutely no going fast allowed.
So that's pretty cool. I like to hear that. Overall, this is a very good game, and I would recommend you to get the free trial of Apple Arcade to try it out, because it is honestly worth your time. I would recommend playing with a controller as well, because honestly, playing with touch is not good. Unlike what the DS says, touching is not good in this case. But yeah, I'm really happy for this game, and I hope that, you know, more Sonic games in the future are similar to this and not, you know, like what Frontiers did, because I was hoping Frontiers would be a fully open Sonic game, and it has more 2D than it needs to be, because why is the 2D in the open zone levels? It's a shame that I won't really be able to play Sonic Dream Team after this month, because I'm not going to get Apple Arcade just to play this one game every 3 weeks or something. So yeah, if you like Sonic content, why not press the subscribe button, because I will very appreciate that. We are nearly at 1,000 subscribers, so I would appreciate any single person who helps. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye!